We are the 2nd of March, Tuesday the 2nd of March. It's very early, but I am going to plant some vegetable seeds in this raised bed. So the first thing I'm going to do is just use one of these little forks to just fluff up the surface a little bit, just so that there's some way that the seeds can just fall in, and I'll come back and show you how I do the next bit. So I managed to bend this chicken wire back a little bit so you can see a bit better what I'm doing, and I'm going to just sort of drag some of the soil over just to make a little bit of a key for them. And you know something, I'm going to get rid of some of these plants or put them somewhere else because they're right in the middle, and so they come out quite easily, and I think I might just put them over here. So I've just put that on the other side, probably can't see it, but just transferred it. So I'm now going to get this whole little area clear, and I'll show you what I'm doing in a minute. So I've transplanted all of these. They were chard, they were baby chard plants that had overwintered, and I've transplanted them all over to that side so that that side is really where I've put them all. So I've got this sort of area here that's more clear, as you can see. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do some little drills, and I'm going to be planting a number of different types of vegetable and waiting to see what happens when I plant them this early. I may use plastic to cover them so that they're in their own microclimate, which will also provide a little bit of warmth for them to germinate with as well. So I've just broken up the top layer of soil with a little fork. I'm just going to put a few drills in here, drills just like maybe ½ inch to 1 inch deep, little sort of trench in the soil, and I'm going to put maybe 3 or 4 of those quite close together, because I'm intending to just use this as a seed bed and then to transplant things afterwards. So I'm just dragging these little trenches along, drills. There's just one thing I'm going to plant that I'm not going to move, or 2 things, which is carrots and parsnips. So I'm going to plant them straight in, and I'm not going to move them. So I'm probably going to put them in the middle of the bed where I don't need to pick them very often, obviously, because they take some time. And there we have 1, 2, 3 and 3.5. This little patch of greenery here is parsley that's waiting to come back, and I'll put another little tiny bit of a trench there, a drill there. Okay. So I've just dropped some. These are, if I can show you these are parsnip seeds that came off the plants last year. They take 2 years to go to seed, and you need to use the seed quite quickly with parsnips. So I'm going to put them, not as many as that, I'm just going to put a handful, just a few, in the furthest bed here. Drill, sorry. I'm probably sort of sprinkling, let me see if I can show you what I'm doing with them. You can, hold on, sorry about my hand. You may be able to see what I'm doing though. And I'm going to put some more here as well. Let me put you down. So I'm just going to sprinkle some more here. I'm putting them reasonably thick because they don't all germinate. Parsnips are quite unreliable like that, and what's more is they seem to need the exact conditions. So just going to put this seed back in here. So now I've got some spinach seed that came off of some seed that I had last year, and it was such a beautiful spinach that and I couldn't find the seed again, so I thought I'll just take it off here. So I'm going to put half a row down, sort of reasonably thick, with the intention of transplanting once they're big enough. Same with radish. I've got some this is pretty old French breakfast radish, so that's the long radish, and I'm just going to plant that in the rest here. So that goes along in a reasonably similar kind of spacing, quite thick. The thing with radishes is you can pick the biggest ones as they come up, a bit like multi-sow, and leave the smaller ones left to continue to germinate and grow. So I've mixed in 2 different seeds. I don't know what they are. One is a seed that I took off a couple of plants a number of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and I can't remember because all I said was they were radish seed. In fact, I'm going to put them all in. And then I've just got leeks, the Musselburgh. I'm going to use onion typica from moles, that's very good, and I'm going to use the rest up of these carrots. And again, I'm going to put the carrots in a permanent place, probably up this end in half a trench here, and the onions I'm going to run alongside in an attempt to protect them from carrot fly. But I think we might be high enough for the carrot fly not to come up, so this is just underneath my knee. Anyway, once I've got all the drills in, I'll show you then. All the seeds are scattered. You can just see there's the parsnips. This is the spinach. This is the radish. More parsnip. You can just about see the carrot if I can find it. Or is it? No, where is it? That's the drill for the carrot. And then the carrot ends suddenly and it goes black because the leek and onion seed is very dark and you can't see it against the soil. So all I'm going to do now is literally just cover them over just a little bit, just like that, and just to make sure that the seeds are just slightly covered. Do that all the way down. Okay, and then just make sure they're under cover just a little bit. And the same here, under cover. Okay, and again here. It's quite simple really. Now it does depend. Oh, I haven't done my parsnips here. So it does depend obviously on how warm it is and how much it wants to germinate, and with the wet conditions and the sunshine and the warm soil. So we shall see. It'll be the first time I've done this in such a raised bed, certainly in my own garden, this early. So it's just a little experiment to get us going. If it gets really bad, cold, frosty, I will drag some plastic over it, especially at night if it threatens to be frosty at night. What I've done since last week is I've covered this hoop arrangement with plastic. I've got my seedlings in here growing on, and if you see what I've done with this arrangement at the front, so I'm going to just peg the end in there with some pegs once I've found them. I don't know what I've done with them for winter, and I've got 2 poles here just keeping that tight, and that stops your little seedlings getting frostbitten at night and waterlogged during the day. So and I'll do something similar here if I feel it's necessary. Okay,